Mr. Hill, what has television given you? Well, nervous dyspepsia, indigestion, heartburn, and all sorts of things like that. 4 decades, The Benny Hill Show dominated television screens, delighting audiences with its rapid-fire slapstick, risk gags, and that unforgettable theme music. Benny Hill became a comedy legend, his mischievous grin and over-the-top antics earning him fans from every corner of the globe. But behind the non-stop laughter and iconic sketches, trouble was quietly brewing. One controversial sketch would soon spark a backlash so intense that it would mark the beginning of the end for the beloved series. What was meant to be comedy gold ignited a cultural firestorm, one that exposed deeper issues and ultimately led to the show's cancellation. Now we uncover the infamous moment that changed everything and explore the hidden controversy that brought The Benny Hill Show crashing down. The Benny Hill Show entertained millions worldwide from its inception in 1955 until it was taken off the air in 1989. However, one particular scene is often cited as a key factor that contributed to the show's eventual downfall. While the program had always pushed the boundaries with its humor, a sketch aired in the late 1980s struck a particularly controversial note. The scene featured Hill in a parody of a beauty pageant where scantily clad women were ogled and objectified, resulting in a crass and tasteless joke that many viewers and critics found deeply offensive. During this period, public sensibilities and attitudes towards comedy were shifting dramatically. What was once considered cheeky and harmless fun had begun to be viewed as outdated and demeaning. The infamous sketch catalyzed these growing critiques, thrusting the issue into the forefront of public debate. But how did a comedy program adored by millions meet such a dramatic end? Before delving into the controversial scene that changed everything, it is worth exploring the life of the man behind the show. Alfred Hawthorne Hill, better known by his stage name Benny Hill, was born on January 21, 1924, in Southampton, Hampshire, England, though some sources cite 1925 as his birth year. His family background is quite intriguing, particularly due to the artistic inclinations of his forebears. His father, Alfred Hill, managed a surgical appliance shop, a profession that was a clear departure from the family's entertainment roots, as his grandfather Henry Hill had been a circus clown. This legacy of performance and entertainment would go on to influence Benny Hill's eventual career path. His mother Helen was also a significant figure in his early life. Benny Hill attended Taunton School in Southampton, though his education did not immediately lead him into the entertainment industry. Instead, his early career was marked by a variety of jobs, none of which were directly related to show business. He worked at Woolworths for his initial work experience and subsequently took on roles that showcased his versatility, including milkman, bridge operator, driver, and even drummer. These diverse experiences contributed richly to the range of characters and scenarios he would later portray in his comedy. His foray into the entertainment world truly began when he became an assistant stage manager with a touring revue, a position that marked the start of his lifelong career in show business and provided him with invaluable insights into stage management, timing, and coordination. In 1942, during the height of World War II, Benny Hill was called up for military service, training as a mechanic in the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers, a branch of the British Army responsible for the maintenance, repair, and recovery of electrical and mechanical equipment. This technical training sharpened his resourcefulness and problem-solving abilities, qualities that would serve him well in his later career. During his service, Hill took on multiple roles, working as a truck driver and searchlight operator in addition to his duties as a mechanic. His deployment to Normandy in September 1944 placed him at the heart of one of the most critical phases of the war, the Allied liberation of Western Europe from Nazi occupation. As a mechanic and truck driver, he helped maintain and operate vehicles essential for transporting troops and supplies, while as a searchlight operator, he contributed to the defense against enemy air attacks by illuminating targets for anti-aircraft gunners. Before the war's end, Hill transferred to the Combined Services Entertainment Division, an organization responsible for boosting morale among British and Allied forces through performances by comedians, actors, musicians, and other entertainers. This experience proved instrumental in shaping his future career, giving him the opportunity to hone his performance skills and experiment with comedy, timing, and delivery under a wide variety of conditions. Benny Hill drew deep inspiration from the star comedians of British music hall shows, a hugely popular form of entertainment during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. These performances typically featured a vibrant mix of comedy, song, dance, and magic, and the larger-than-life personas of the comedians who performed in them left a lasting impression on the young Hill. Determined to carve out his own niche in the entertainment industry, he adopted the stage name Benny as a tribute to his favorite comedian, Jack Benny, an American radio, television, and film star celebrated for his impeccable comic timing and deadpan delivery. Armed with this inspiration and the practical experience gained during his time with the Combined Services Entertainment Division, Hill set out with confidence to make his mark in show business. Benny Hill's first major break came through radio, the dominant entertainment medium of the era. He made his debut on the popular program Variety Bandbox on October 5, 1947, a well-regarded platform for comedy and musical acts where his sharp wit and adaptable comedic timing quickly won over listeners, setting the stage for his rise in the entertainment world. His success on radio soon opened the door to television, which was rapidly gaining popularity and cultural influence. In 1950, he made his first television appearance, and the addition of a visual component gave Hill exciting new creative freedom, enabling him to introduce the physical comedy and visual gags that would become the trademarks of his style. These early television roles laid the groundwork for a prolific and enduring career in the medium. By 1962, he was starring in a series in which he portrayed a different character in each episode, demonstrating his impressive range and comedic flexibility. By 1964, he expanded his horizons even further with a turn in classical theatre, portraying Nick Bottom in a television adaptation of Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream alongside several esteemed actors. As Bottom, a naturally comic character, Hill was able to merge his instinct for comedy with traditional stagecraft, revealing new layers of depth as a performer. Between 1964 and 1966, he returned to radio with Benny Hill Time on the BBC Radio Light programme, a show spanning 3 series that stood out for its topical and satirical humour. Hill had a keen eye for current events and trends, cleverly weaving them into his skits, with a standout episode from March 1964 parodying James Bond in From Russia with Love, underscoring his flair for spoofing popular culture. His comedic takes on the Beatles and other prominent figures of the era only added to his widespread appeal. Through Benny Hill Time, he also brought a cast of beloved recurring characters to life, including the clumsy everyman Harry Hill and the peculiarly mannered Fred Scuttle, figures who endeared him to a broad audience and further cemented his reputation as a versatile and imaginative entertainer. Despite his undeniable talent and ambition, Benny Hill faced considerable challenges in the early stages of his career, particularly on stage, where his performances often received mixed reviews. His journey through the world of entertainment had begun with radio, and while some of his shows struck a genuine chord with listeners, others failed to leave a lasting impression. Yet this formative period of trial and error proved essential in helping Hill refine his comedic instincts, building in him a resilient spirit and a distinctive style that blended sharp wit with a flair for the absurd. It was not until he made the full transition to television that Benny Hill truly found his footing and his fame. On January 15, 1955, The Benny Hill Show premiered on the BBC, marking the beginning of a legendary television career that would span decades. From the outset, the show distinguished itself with a unique format inspired by the vibrant tradition of British music hall entertainment, combining live stage sketches with pre-recorded segments to give Hill ample room to flex his considerable creative muscles. His brand of humour, leaning heavily on slapstick, double entendres, parody, and visual gags, quickly endeared him to a wide and enthusiastic audience. The show's success was built in large part on Hill's talented recurring collaborators, including Patricia Hayes, Jeremy Hawke, Peter Vernon, Ronnie Braudy, and co-writer Dave Freeman, who played a particularly significant role in shaping Hill's material throughout the 1950s and into the early 1960s. Among the most beloved figures from this era was Jackie Wright, a diminutive, bald-headed actor who became a fan favorite as the frequent and stoic target of Hill's infamous head-slapping routines, his impeccable timing making him the perfect straight man. Although Hill remained primarily with the BBC until 1968, he briefly experimented with ITV and ATV between 1957 and 1960 and again in 1967, using these departures to explore different creative approaches and reach new audiences. A major turning point came in 1969 when the show moved to Thames Television, where it adopted a new format of one-hour specials that allowed for more elaborate production values and greater creative freedom. Under Thames Television, the show gained international acclaim, eventually being broadcast in over 140 countries, with Hill's universal comedic themes and physical humor transcending language barriers to make him a truly global icon. His abilities as a writer, performer, and impressionist were central to this success, with his sketches ranging across a colorful spectrum of characters from hapless everyman figures to pompous authority figures, each brought to life with his signature blend of satire and slapstick. Though Hill was the primary creative force behind the series, he occasionally drew on material from other writers, contributions that were rarely credited on screen in keeping with the norms of the time. One notable example involves Cherry Gilliam, an actress and regular cast member who reportedly sold Hill a sketch idea in 1976, with her concept later appearing in the January 1977 broadcast after Hill wrote to her from Spain to confirm it would be used. A defining hallmark of the show was its run-off chase sequence, an iconic closing gag that wrapped up each episode in a burst of frenetic, sped-up visual comedy, filmed using a technique called undercranking that amplified the absurdity of the action and showcased Hill's remarkable talent for physical humor. These chases, featuring a recurring mix of police officers, grannies, vicars, and scantily clad women, became one of the most recognizable and beloved elements of the entire series.